Alright guys, welcome back to the PWP, the Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Tackett.
I'm your other host, Dalton.
Alright, no formal, okay. And this episode is actually sponsored by the Wheelwright Renaissance Center. They actually gave us enough time to sit down and record today. So hopefully the audio is going to sound a little bit better.
Their tables are a whole lot better than that few totes we had in that last episode.
Yeah, our whole setup was held up by like totes
in a dungeon.
In his basement. But yeah, huge shout out to them. Huge shout out to Sam Little for giving us the time needed to sit down and record this and talk to you all for a little bit. But Dalton took the decision and decided that we wanted to do an episode dedicated to one of his favorite wrestlers, one of my favorite wrestlers, Shawn Micheals, the Heartbreak Kid, Mr. Wrestlemania, the Showstopper.
The most controversial man in all of sports entertainment.
Exactly, and that's why he's amazing. So, what is it about Shawn that just you just can't help but love him?
No pun intended, but his flair.
Okay, yeah.
You know, man, Shawn, every time he come out, you knew something special was going to happen.
Yes, yeah.
You knew he was going to come out there and hit some big elbow drop onto somebody, or somebody the band was tuning up for somebody. Somebody was getting clocked with a super kick.
Oh, yeah. The entrance, the gear, the move set, the way he sold, the way he had that presence about him. Anytime he stepped in the ring,
That's
the
knew, sexy boy.
Yeah, you knew you were in for a great time.
Ain't no boy toy, Ken. He ain't no boy toy.
You want to play Vince's version?
Not really. Sexy boy.
The first time I actually seen Shawn in a match, for me personally, was on a DVD copy of his return. I can't remember. I think it was SummerSlam when he had his match with Triple H, the No Holds Barred match.
Mine was just some random Raw. I don't
Really?
remember who he was killing the kid. It was some random Raw. I do remember one of my most memorable moments with Shawn was when him and Triple H were up in the rafters. Nobody expected Degeneration's music hit on Raw.
Okay, yeah.
They were up there just making fun of everybody, throwing glow sticks at everybody.
Was that the 06 run?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. Okay. Before we even go further back and start talking about peak Shawn, arguably, or in his prime, what are your thoughts on 2006 DX?
2006 DX.
Because it is a controversial
It's prime
topic.
time, man.
Everybody dislikes it, but when...
I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Now, it could have been because of our age group.
Who's the random guy you super kicked?
Which one? There were multiple in the one segment.
The first one. What was he? He said, hey, what's your name? And then just super kicked that guy.
Oh, yeah,
What's
yeah,
his
yeah.
name?
I forget, but I do know what you're talking
I
about.
just kicked whatever.
Yeah, he continually went through the backstage area, just super kicking everybody because they said
that is shortly after that, it was a few years after. Back when Jericho come back and he had the crowd hot, him and Triple H did a little Degenerations appearance. Remember all the glow sticks?
Oh, yeah.
He was like,
that was when
everybody look under your seats.
That was when Jericho was teaming with Big Show, right? Jericho?
Something like that.
Yeah. But I seen Shawn actually talking about the 2006 run, and like I said, it's a controversial run. A lot of people said that they started acting more childish, which they did.
It was likable, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was targeted towards a childish audience, but as a teenager and stuff, back then I was just a kid, but I can go back and watch that crap and I still think it's hilarious.
And Shawn even said that was kind of how it was meant to be. He said that DX in his head was almost like a band, and this is like a band reforming when they're out of their prime, they're in their mid-40s, and they're coming back and they're trying to live out their glory days, but they're old men now, but they're still trying to act like they're 20-year-olds being 15-year-olds.
It's like a bunch of 6-year-old women going to watch an AC/DC concert.
But there were some great segments in it. I mean, the best segment for me...
Bring their grandkids like, wow, this is so cool. That's what it was like for us,
Yeah, the best segment for me of that era of Shawn was... the episode of Raw where Shawn and Triple H came out dressed as the McMahons. And look at me, Dad! Shut up! It's so perfect.
Bouncing around the ring.
I'm dancing!
Approval from his father.
But,
Triple H really was the father figure.
He
was a lot younger.
But to to go a little further back, that was our first, like...
Bald Spot Shawn was my favorite. Well, I wouldn't say he's my favorite Shawn, but he's one of my favorite Shawn.
That was, like, our era of when we grew up and seen Shawn.
Now kids, they experience the let's go to Saudi Arabia and have a terrible match.
What Saudi match?
And it's the one where Kane...
Saudi match?
Oh, the one that don't exist?
What Saudi match?
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Shawn Micheals was retired by The Undertaker.
Yep.
There was
at Wrestlemania.
There was no Saudi match. We will not talk about that. Brothers of Destruction.
Kane's never lost his mask.
No, never while on top of the
Shawn
turnbuckle.
didn't give anybody a concussion. He also didn't concuss himself.
No, we never had to see short hair, cross-eyed Shawn Micheals. That's not a thing. That's Dark Dream.
Only in NXT. That's not. NXT. Yeah. I just had that in a fever dream.
Yeah, you did. You definitely did. But going back, how much of peak '90s drug addict, to put it bluntly, Shawn Micheals have you seen?
Quite a bit. And honest to God, when I say favorite era, that might be my favorite era.
Yes.
That was the best selling of any freaking... Like, nobody's ever sold better. It might be... You call it overselling, but who else can oversell to that limit?
Yeah, that's the biggest issue, is all things that he did at that time would have gotten him fired if he were not Shawn Micheals. You go back and you look at that, and you think of all of these different people that have been suspended or fired.
Yeah, the only person that got fired was... Well, actually, somebody that quit. He didn't get fired.
Yeah, the recent Jeff things. But, everybody got the 90-day suspension and things like that. But Shawn...
I mean the screw job.
Oh. But it could have been a post-90s thing, but every other wrestler always would get suspended for things like that. And Shawn, the issue he acted like a total prick behind the scenes and sometimes in front of the
Vince
camera.
Could try and screw him over all he wanted, but you can't screw over Shawn Micheals.
No,
that's something you just don't do.
He's just too
Bury
good.
him as much as you want. People are going to want him to win.
Yeah, he's too good in the ring to ever really be able to say, no, Shawn, don't show up. And thankfully...
I'm surprised, like, when he lost the match, they didn't just play his music.
Thankfully, though, as bad as this is to say, the off-canny, off-the-wall, oddball Shawn that we got in the 90s led us to the original DX, which was... Do you remember who I was in the original DX?
Do I remember?
Yes.
Probably not.
So
be honest with you.
So you had, of course, Triple H, Chyna, Shawn Micheals, but there was one more. And he was only in it for a slight bit before going straight to WCW.
Who is it?
Ravishing Rick Rude. If you go back and look, originally, when Shawn and Triple H and Chyna were standing or doing the
if you ask anybody in their 40s, they would have told you, no, that's wrong. No. Road Dogg Jesse James. That was the best era. X-Pac, Road Dogg Jesse James, best era, hands down.
If you go back and look, though, it was. Ravishing Rick was a part of the group. He was actually in possibly the most iconic DX, you make the rules, we break them promo. He was there. And then there was this crazy moment where his contract had expired, and he went straight to WCW. And so what DX did in return was perfect. They had a dwarf dressed up as Ravishing Rick, and they beat the piss out of him in the ring.
Dwarves.
No, of course not. But
we love dwarves. We know me.
I wish I knew.
He was midget. Can I use that?
I don't know.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I love Hornswoggle.
But
Hornswoggle he was one of my favorite wrestlers as a kid. Throwing the little shit lately.
Hey, he was DX. This works. This goes full circle. He became a member of DX. Yep. Wait a minute. What are we talking about? Shawn and Triple H went to midget court.
Oh God!
Under the ring.
Oh, demonetized.
Okay, maybe 2009 DX wasn't that great. But
Shawn's supposed to be a Christian. God bless America.
What What are some of Shawn's best matches in your opinion? Like your favorite, you know? 'Cause
My
everybody can talk about
hands
their
down
own.
favorite was the first WrestleMania match with Undertaker.
It's supposedly the botched. Oh, cameraman. It wasn't really a botch. Well, he botched the jump and went a little too high, but
And the cameraman didn't
quite
catch him.
Yeah.
Quite catch him. I just think I think when you see a man that large coming over the top rope, I really think he had a moment.
He was 10 foot in the air.
Yeah, I feel like he had
I've
a
never seen a
moment
man
of just-
that big bunny hop like that. You gotta think this man is in his 40s at the time, late 40s,
Yeah.
mid 40s. Bunny hop at 6'10" over a what? How tall are ropes? Like 4, 5.
Yeah,
up
at
there,
least,
up there.
At
Yeah.
least
Taller
for
than
WWE
Hornswoggle.
ring, yeah. For me, that's tough because there are so many.
The Elimination Chamber, as I mentioned the last one, that was one of my favorites.
Story wise, that is a great one.
Put the story right there in the ring. That's one of the few matches that it has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Mhm.
That isn't just a beginning, some random John Cena 4 moves of death end. That was a good Elimination Chamber.
For me, I would say though, my favorite, and I feel like it's an underrated match. I never hear it talked about. Kurt Angle versus Shawn at Mania. It's such a good match, and I mean, of course, it's a good match, but it's one of those.
Look at who's in it.
Yeah,
Kurt Angle. I don't think he ever did a bad match.
No,
especially not in TNA.
Oh yeah, Kurt on a perk is amazing.
God, we love Kurt on a perk.
Well, yeah, we'll have to do an episode all about that,
Kurt on a perk.
that
450
era.
splashes off the bottom rope.
Everything. But
you're just 105. Well, I can work with that. 630 senton.
That match is one of those where, in a way, we're lucky we got it because when Shawn, went into early retirement after the botch with the casket and the Taker match, and then finished out with the Stone Cold match to put Stone Cold over at Mania. That was when Kurt, showed up just maybe a year after that, and so we almost never got that match, and it's crazy to think that we got it, and arguably both of their most peak performance-wise. Shawn at that point was good.
This is before their bodies were destroyed.
Too destroyed, and this was after Shawn had found God, and he really had a mindset for wrestling. That's something that I feel like the second run
When
of
neither
Shawn
of them
is so
were, I don't
good.
know about Kurt, but neither of them were on at least heavy drugs.
Yeah, I think that
I don't
might
think
be just before Kurt battled his demons, and that after obviously leaving
before
WWE.
Kurt on a perk.
Yeah.
Before he
Pre-Kurt
could
on
run
perk.
wild in TNA and do whatever he wanted.
Completely. We need to do a whole episode on just crazy shenanigans in TNA of everybody, because it seems like in wrestling back then, if you
We need to do a whole episode on just AJ Styles' hairline and
how
it completely reversed.
But back then, it was like, oh, I'm not wanted in WWE anymore. Let me go do something completely batshit crazy in TNA.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
At least now it's done right and safely and proper drug tests.
Poor Jeff Jarrett. He tried.
Hey, I seen that crap live, man. That was good.
Okay.
I was just a little kid, and I was like, God,
we
how
can't.
did Chris Masters do all that?
We can't not talk about it.
What are those knots on his arm?
I know we're a little bit all over the place, but the screw job. We can't not talk about Shawn Michaels without talking about the screw job. What are your thoughts and opinions on the screw job?
I've set up.
Okay.
I mean, you can look at it. It's set up.
It's insane.
There's too many clues, too many pieces to the puzzle, too many. I don't think the invasion would have happened if both parts didn't have a play in it. I mean, there's just.
I'm somebody that loves conspiracy theory videos and things like that, and just they're interesting to say the least. They're very interesting.
This doesn't seem like a conspiracy. It's just like a fill in the blanks type of situation. Is what it feels like to me. I'm sure back then you didn't know kayfabe was a thing. I'm sure like a lot of older people had suspicion.
There was this kind of mixed.
When you
middle
were a
ground
teenager
at that
back
point.
then, you're unsure, but at the same time you're like, nobody has ever come forward.
Yeah,
and said, this is fake. Well, not fake, but this is this has a beginning and an end.
You had people who were starting to realize it, but maybe were still in denial that this isn't real. And that for me was the tipping point. It's like, this is something. Okay, when you watch it, it does lend itself to a lot of, is it a work? Because I mean, why would Brett?
It's almost ominous too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole chronological. We need to go over that. Whole chronological events of how kayfabe died.
Yeah.
Up to Vince's video after Owen.
But the thing that always gets me is, why was Brett allowed to have a documentary being made about him and have the cameras backstage at the time? Why did Brett let Shawn put him in the sharpshooter if Brett was so adamant about Shawn is going to try to do something, I don't want to put him over, I don't like Shawn Micheals, I don't want him going over me in Canada in front of my people, all of this, why would he let him put him in the sharpshooter in the first place?
How could you get, it just feels like they were trying to build heat, and it just went wrong and become this big story, but this big story become one of the most infamous moments in all of wrestling.
The biggest one for me, though, is why didn't security rush the ring after? You know what I mean? Like, Vince had to realize, if this wasn't a work, let's say, Vince had to realize
he had an audience. He could have done it right there.
Yeah,
I'm not going to speak out about it years later. I mean, when you think about it, if it is all the work, Brett's been in kayfabe for a long ass time.
Well, I think that is. I don't know. That feels like the one thing that'll die with Shawn, Brett, and Vince. Like, if it's a work, because it caused a influx of wrestling.
No assault charges on Brett for decking Vince McMahon in the
backstage,
face.
Yeah, and he spit on him on
billionaire.
The biggest.
He
one
still got his last paycheck.
I think one of the biggest ones for me is the hard cam. Not side cam or anything. The hard cam focuses on Brett as he makes WCW. And it's not like he does it fast. He does it very slow and very clear. At some point, one of the camera crew had to have known, cut the camera.
Cut the camera. Let's cut to the.
Yeah, I am somebody that...
Whatever they could have cut to. They could have cut something.
Yeah, I am somebody that...
Let's cut the Shawn.
Yeah, Shawn, really. He had the belt. Show him celebrating. But I'm somebody that is neutral to it. I like to believe that it's a work because there's so much more about it. Because if it is...
It makes me feel like Shawn is the good person that we do know Shawn as.
Plus, it is the ultimate work if it was, because it felt so real.
And if it is a work, then kayfabe's
yes.
That's what we all want to believe.
I don't know. Kayfabe might have died when Taker came out as Mark Calloway.
No. That's just him being undead now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's been resurrected.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's no longer an Undertaker. He just retired from being an Undertaker.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it.
Yeah, he got tired of digging holes. And
his 401k's kicked in, dog. He ain't Undertaker no more.
All right. Retirement match. We had the first.
Which one? Ric Flair or Shawn Michaels?
Shawn. We'll talk about the Flair match. Actually, that's a good idea. Actually, before we talk about the retirement match, yeah, you are right. That match is insane.
All 28-year-olds aside, that was one of the most emotional matches for me as a child. I kind of cried because I loved Ric Flair as a kid. I thought he was hilarious.
Yeah.
He'd come on, I'd start going, woo! I'd start yelling and crap, and Mom and Dad would tell me to shut up.
Even if you didn't, at the time being a kid, even if you didn't realize what you were witnessing, watching him wrestle still, you knew. It was like, this man has put his heart and soul on the line.
Special to him.
Yeah, and you could tell he was a legend. Even without seeing or being a part of this history, it's still amazing that he was able to do
thing.
Sorry.
I finished your sentence.
Yeah, sorry about that. We had to cut. We had a very loud shitbox drive by. But anyways, talking about the Ric Flair match. I gave Dalt this whole talk when we were starting this. I was like, we gotta watch what we say. I think I'm the only one that has cursed this entire time. But anyways,
that's one. You can allow one in a PG-13
yes,
movie. We're good.
Technically, I haven't said the full 7 dirty words that you can't say on TV, so we're okay.
Have you watched TV recently?
Yes. It's a little bit different, but
I don't watch TV anymore. It's gross, man.
Okay.
TV's gross now.
That's why we watch wrestling. It's good for the heart and good for the soul.
I go watch that crap on YouTube.
Oh. Talking about the Flair match, though.
Peacock. Or PBS's app.
But talking about Flair and
I'm
Shawn's
just glad ROH,
match.
I can find a place to watch it now.
Shut up. Talking about the Flair match. Yeah, easily one of the most iconic WrestleMania moments. I'm sorry, I love you. The 1, 2, 3. That's that.
Give it to me.
Yes.
Give it to me.
Yeah. Oh,
Do it, Shawn.
We had a cameo in that. We had technically, I think her first WWE debut. You know who was in the crowd that night?
I have no clue.
A young Charlotte Flair crying over her dad retiring.
Oh God.
Yep, a young Charlotte Flair.
It's kind of depressing.
Yeah.
In reality, she just thought, "Oh God, my dad got kicked in the face."
Yeah.
She was a child.
But yeah, she was there ringside, and I think that's what added to the emotion. Just I actually think she might have been in a WCW moment though when she was a little baby though. But technically, that was her first WWE debut.
Hook debuted in ECW.
But yeah, that's the thing about Shawn is just all of the moments for WrestleMania. You know, when you think about WrestleMania, really, it's not just Taker.
There's a lot of Shawn.
Mm-hmm.
He's Mr. WrestleMania.
Yeah, you can't think of WrestleMania feels different now because Shawn and Taker are they're the two. They're the
and Hunter's gone.
Yeah.
Forever. Hunter's recently gone.
Love him or hate him, yes, his matches at Mania did go on too long, and yes, he had to have the most extravagant entrances and
yes,
stuff.
he destroyed the Undertaker's back with a steel chair.
And whenever we finally talk about Triple H, we're gonna just ignore the Booker T stuff.
Let's not ever talk about that.
Let's just never talk about the Booker T stuff.
I really don't want to
shine my boots, boy.
Oh, God.
That was rough. But we're not talking about Triple H. We're talking about his buddy, his amigo, Shawn Micheals. Micheals. Higginbottom.
Put that on a t-shirt. Micheals.
Shawn Higginbottom.
Shawn Micheals.
Nichols? No, maybe.
Nicholas.
No, what?
Nicolas Cage starring as Shawn Micheals in a brand new hit movie.
You know, they got similar hairlines, honestly.
Sexy boy. What?
They have similar hairlines. Did you?
They do. Well, no. Nicolas Cage is like a full head of... Nicolas Cage is a vampire. Did you know that?
Really?
He's a vampire. Yeah,
Really?
There's pictures of him all the way back to the 1700s and 1600s.
I think this needs to go on Bobby Akers' conspiracy theory podcast.
Did you just plug Bobby?
I did. I love Bobby.
Podcast?
I love Bobby. I hope he's watching.
I love Bobby too. Plug.
I did. Yeah, I love him. Hopefully he'll give us a plug now. It's a shameless plug for another plug. Exactly. You can't see, but he's giving me this odd stare. But the retirement.
Please don't click off of our podcast and go watch that one. Do it after.
Yeah. Or yeah. But talking about his retirement match, Shawn Michaels' retirement
Right
match
after
now.
this ad break. No,
But talking about it now, how did you feel going into that? Because I know we both were watching at that point, and that is.
I was hoping he'd break.
I
didn't want to see Shawn go away.
Yeah, I was that too.
Shawn was one of my favorite wrestlers as a child, if not my favorite wrestler as a child.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where you're like,
I taught my little boy how to tune up the band. he's 18 months old and he runs around stomping sideways at people.
It is a sad thing, because just like what he was saying, at the time
we grew up with him.
Yeah,
he was in all the games.
We
watched him every week.
It was great. Yeah.
Comedic value of the man.
It was one of those things though where you didn't want to see either man lose because you don't want Taker to lose the streak, but you also don't want Shawn to leave.
I was fully willing for Taker to take that L and lose that streak. Nobody would have been more worthy than Shawn to take that streak, and then boom. There we go. Shawn's gone. I love Taker. I love Taker more than the next guy. But God.
I'm going to be a little bit... little bit controversial here. I actually prefer that match over the WrestleMania 25 one.
Emotion, yeah.
Yeah, the emotion.
The actual, like,
technicality-wise, yes, 25 takes
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a year later. It's a drastic year,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and both of them are going into it very nervous.
And it actually had a great build.
Like, I know, like, they've both been in front of a WrestleMania crowd, but
Yeah.
more than anybody, those two. You know, they're arguably they should have nerves of steel, but that match, those stakes, the way they already knew it was going to end, and the way that they was worrying about the crowd taking it.
Yeah. And the story building up to it. You know, the first match, it was, you know, who's the better man. But that second one, Shawn was so fixated on having to beat Taker.
Taker. Don't cry. Don't cry.
Just,
don't break kayfabe.
Just such a great story of especially the lengths Shawn went to get that match. You know, when he broke into the Elimination Chamber.
Don't break the kayfabe.
But he broke into the Elimination Chamber, super kick Taker to cost him. I think it was his world title at the time. I think Jericho picked it up that night. But just these limits that, yes, it was Jericho, because the feud right before that was him and Jericho, where they had that literal blood feud when Jericho punched his wife in the mouth.
On accident.
Yeah. So,
right in the mouth.
So you look at that, and he was willing, from a storyline perspective, he was willing to let the man that punched his wife in the face have the title over Taker because he wanted Taker that bad.
I'm the one who messed up your eye. That was wasn't it Kane?
It was Kane. It was Kane on episode Raw.
Yeah, he big booted him in the eyeball. And he dropped to the floor.
Yeah, ever since then, Shawn's eye's been drifting.
Oh, one of my favorite Shawn Michaels moments. This is really like random and out of the blue, completely off topic. When Triple H jumps off the rope. I can't remember who he was fighting. Who is he going against? He takes the boot. Was it Orton?
I think. Oh, it was an after Raw show. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He takes the boot.
He does the flare bump.
And he just stands there.
Yeah, for like a good couple minutes.
Had me rolling the whole time was just Shawn going.
Oh, trying to balance
his arm. Like,
yeah.
Go this way. Go this way. Go this way.
It was a classic flare bump. Just the way that he's just standing and just waiting.
It went on for like a minute and 30 seconds.
Everybody's like, everybody's waiting.
Shawn going, what's going on?
It is so good though. But yeah, what do you think of the Raw after the retirement? You know, when it finally sunk in, yep, he's gone.
You know that feeling you get of just like,
mm-hmm.
you know, I don't know how to describe it other than, you know, like you shrug.
Yeah.
You shrug down, you're just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I kind of had that feeling. I remember my brother, he was kind of PO'd, but like, he kind of, you know, you respect it because, you know, he was getting older and he didn't want to put himself through that no more,
mm-hmm.
you know, or anymore. He just, you know, I now looking back, I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, that was great. I'm glad he retired when he did. He didn't hurt himself anymore. He did good. Saudi Arabia. We don't talk about Saudi Arabia. Oops.
For me, there are 3 Raw episodes where I remember crying the most.
I'm just putting out there, my creative character whooped Shawn Micheals' ass on the new game 3 times. He was mad about it too. He's been salty about it the whole time.
I'm trying to talk about an emotional moment.
Whipped him 3 times. I'm so sorry. It was emotional for me too. Maybe I'm just, you know.
I'm glad you beat Shawn. I'm glad you did in 2K22.
Did you lose?
No, I didn't fight Shawn. I had respect for him.
Oh, you baby face.
I can't PG. We're a PG show. This is the PG era.
13. We're TV 14 right now. We're like AEW level.
Okay, yeah.
We can bleed.
Okay.
We can blade.
Okay. With Bob Orton?
So can Shawn.
Is it okay if Bob Orton blades
Shawn
with
was
you?
one of the best bladers. He bladed right into his hairline.
I
don't want to. No, I just processed what you said. We almost didn't have the Taker Shawn match because of that. That could have been it for the dead man. He really would have been the dead man.
He would have been the dead man. But okay. What I was about to say, the 3 Raw.
Let's continue.
The 3 Raw episodes that literally made me cry as a kid. Eddie Guerrero, rest in peace, the Ric Flair retirement, and the Shawn retirement. All three are just, obviously the Eddie one more so because you'll never see him again.
Yeah.
But Shawn's,
we could see him in cameos.
Yeah, but it's never going to be the same.
No.
It's like losing. When you're a kid and you watch wrestling, it really is like watching superheroes.
I almost wish they did like a Farouk. Farouk shows up. Damn! I almost wish they did like just a random shot. Somebody be getting interviewed, like a top baby face. Like Drew McIntyre's out there. He's like, I'm going to kick Roman Reigns. And then all of a sudden he gets super kicked.
I would be okay if Shawn just showed up randomly super kicking people. I would be fine with that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just sweet chin music out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Top of a feud. Everybody's really like on edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shawn Michaels super. Just sweet chin music. Somebody. Riddle's about to turn on Randy Orton.
Super kick.
Super kick.
What I gotta ask?
Evolution.
I gotta ask. What is the dream match that never happened for you with Shawn? You could take him, put him in any time, any era, any place.
Shawn Michaels and Adam Cole, baby. I know a lot of people say that.
That is a good one.
There's a few more though.
I can't lie.
I wouldn't put that on top. That's just one that I'd still kill to see.
I can't lie. Mine's a Bullet Club pick too. AJ Styles.
That would be very, very good.
Shawn and AJ would push each other to the
I feel like Shawn would be the only person to sell that, the Styles Clash properly.
Oh, I would
not break their neck.
I would love to see how Shawn would sell a phenomenal forearm. Just imagine it.
They do a 630 back.
Especially if AJ pissed Shawn off somehow. I feel like Shawn would somehow manage to jump.
Shawn, my hairline's better than yours. I was smart enough to get it fixed.
I feel like Shawn would somehow manage to take it, plummet over the ring. I'm going to have a doodle drawing of this. I'm going to have a doodle drawing of this. But plummet over the ring into the steel chair, or the steel steps outside, and then somehow stand straight back up and then fall through the commentary.
He would definitely headbutt the bell.
Yeah, like something
stupid.
But that would be amazing.
Whatever Shawn would do.
Yeah, for me it would definitely be AJ versus Shawn. Maybe I'm gonna say 2015, because I feel like Shawn at that point still had his hair and still had the look. And AJ has been good since AJ was born, I think, in terms of wrestling.
I swear I could watch the man fight a broomstick.
Yeah.
He'd go out there and hit that broomstick with the most phenomenal forearm.
He's like a Bushi. He could have a match with a sex doll and it would be perfect.
Oh, dear.
What? I cannot wait to talk about Japan in an episode. I love Japanese wrestling.
That's good. You'll be leading that episode. I have no clue about anything in Japanese wrestling.
Oh, Kenny Omega fought a 12-year-old. It's amazing. And it really made Jim Cornette mad.
I hate Jim Cornette.
You're going to make so many people mad with that comment. Do you realize the amount of heat you've just turned heel in the middle of our podcast on episode 2?
Have I not been heel the entire time?
I am not associated with this man.
I hate Jim Cornette. Do you like Jim Cornette?
I'm neutral.
Immune.
I
hate Jim Cornette.
He shouldn't have slapped Santino Marella. But he's.
Don't say you love him.
No, I don't.
Nobody loves Jim Cornette.
I can respect the man.
There's one man up Jack's Creek who will be on this podcast very soon who does love Jim Cornette, but we will make him not like Jim Cornette anymore.
Okay, we're gonna break a little bit of kayfabe here, brothers. We're gonna work our way into a shoot here. But the reason that Dalton decided to pick this episode specifically about this man so early on is because he used to be my coworker, and
we would harass a customer who constantly come into the store that we worked at about how much Shawn Michaels was better than any of these old fogies.
So, yes, just going to talk about it. Keith, if you are finally watching, yes, Dalton has officially called you out. He did this episode to fully start this feud.
And Keith, I must warn you, I have a secret weapon. It's not a steel chair, don't worry. No, it's not an actual weapon.
Since you're Team Shawn, I thought it would be a prescription.
Can we go there? Was that in the script?
I don't know.
Was that in the script?
That was off script. That's definitely.
Was that on the script?
Yeah.
Where's that on the script? There's no script.
There's no script. There's none. That's why it's so random. But yeah.
That was a good show. Wait, no, that was That's So Raven.
Just go home. But yeah, we speaking a little bit off the cuff here. We will have a return to the Shawn Michaels episode because we are planning a debate episode where I'm just going to essentially be a moderator and let Keith Smallwood, local town hero around here, and Dalton just go to town on one another because Keith believes in traditional wrestling values.
He doesn't like him at talks.
You let him. Give me a second.
That's
please,
perfect. Keith, I love you.
But Keith is a old school wrestling fan. He likes keeping the business safe.
No.
Having it matter.
It isn't gonna be me.
Okay, you're gonna go full gimmick.
No. I have a Paul Heyman in the back of my pocket.
Your dad.
No. You'll see.
Okay. Okay. Even I don't know about
it's
this.
not my dad,
Even I don't know about this. Anyways,
this is something I got up my sleeve.
This is if it is your son dressed as Paul Heyman, I will buy you like so much wrestling toys.
Double Chief. That's Gregory's argument.
Anyways, back to Shawn. You have anything you want to add about Shawn Michaels? Any matches or anything like that?
Off the top of my head, Saudi Arabia.
Stop! We're not.
Let's talk about Saudi Arabia. Let's talk about that infamous match that was absolutely it was great.
Yeah, it was so great. I was so
The
excited.
Brothers of Destruction versus the Generation X.
They brought Shawn
That
Michaels
was
back.
legendary.
They brought Shawn Michaels back for one more match. After years of begging, every fan begging one more match.
One more match.
Yeah, every fan begging for it. And we're like, Shawn, he is older, but maybe he can still go if you put him in with a younger guy. Maybe we'll get him versus Ricochet, him versus Adam Cole, him versus AJ Styles, versus Drew McIntyre, versus Roman Reigns.
You know what was more entertaining than that match?
What?
And more mobile?
What?
Vicky Guerrero in a wheelchair.
Excuse me? But instead of any of these new talents, we got Shawn Michaels, Triple H, versus the Brothers of Destruction. Or, as I like to call them in that match, the Brothers of the Retirement Home, because, boy, were they stiff. They could barely move, and that match was just tragic. It literally hurt me.
That was Shawn Michaels from the Hunting Show on the Outdoor Channel. NXT manager Triple H. Mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee, Glenn Jacobs. And then the random special guest episode of Mark Holloway on that Hunting Show with Shawn Michaels.
The worst
that
part
was
too,
not The Undertaker and the Heartbreak Kid.
The part that killed me is DX always looked off the cuff, and I'm big on ring gear. Why did they look like gay prostitutes? Leather, shiny leather,
we're definitely demonetized.
No, we're fine.
Oh,
but like shiny leather and studs and cowboy hats, they look like gay prostitutes.
You got a problem with that?
No, just that's not what I expected to see.
It isn't.
I mean, and then Shawn keeping the hat on because he doesn't want to show his hairline.
He grew his hair back out. I don't know how he grew his hair back out, but he grew it back out.
Hair transfusion. I'm gonna say
he might have got plugs or something.
Possibly. I don't know.
Because it still looks like he's got that bad hairline, but the front is a whole lot thicker. He might have just got some of that. What's that stuff called?
Just for men?
No, that's hair dye.
That grew your hair.
He colored his.
Does it grow your hair?
What's it called? That medicine. Who cares?
Anyways,
that's off topic.
Anyways, that match though, it really did. As a Shawn Michaels fan, as a fan of all these guys, like honestly, huge fans of every single person in that match.
I do love it for the humor aspect.
Oh yeah, I mean the memes.
It's hilarious.
Oh, the memes after the look on Shawn's face after the match was finished, where he's just chilling in the corner, and you can just see it in his eyes. And obviously, we're focusing more on Shawn.
I got another Shawn thing.
Okay. Obviously, we're focusing on Shawn, but Triple H did tear. Was it his pectoral muscle in this match?
Yeah.
So yes, the match went off the rails, but man,
Shawn got a concussion.
For years of waiting for that one more match, it was sad. It was just sad. Now, segueing into something funny, what is it? I seen the look on your face. What is it?
The move that put, in the years like 2008 to spanning to like 2012, that put so many men out. The punt kick. Randy Orton put, people in their prime time in the hospital, out for months, just to come back for a big pop. Maybe that was why they did it, but maybe it really gave him a concussion and crushed their skull in. Who knows? Shawn Michaels eats it like it's nothing on an episode of the non-crowd Raw. Remember that?
I don't remember this.
It was in the, what was that? The Thunderdome.
Oh, yeah.
He ate the punt kick like it was nothing. He sat there, he got kicked, and then about 10 seconds later, he was up in the corner just looking around like it was like nothing was wrong with him. He was not unconscious. I
forgot about all of that. Like
from
me,
the best seller ever to being Hulk Hogan, unfazed by the punt kick.
For me, I always forget the whole like COVID era of Raw and SmackDown because it's just like it's depressing. It really is.
It was very unentertaining without a crowd.
Was that?
I mean, it's not their fault.
Was that when Randy went on like another trying to be legend killer?
He put on night vision goggles.
Yes.
and Punk kicked everybody in a room. He took out Christian. He took out none of them. I guess like they couldn't just feel and start swinging. He took out Big Show, and then when the lights come back on, he magically he left. He was gone, and he took everybody out. They were all old fogey, and then Christian goes to AEW like 2 weeks later and wins.
Well, he had the WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble match too.
Yeah,
but cleared.
He went to
pretty much after.
He went straight to AEW and won the Impact Championship off of Kenny Omega.
So
I mean, I figured out a good way to beat world champions.
There's one
night
match.
vision goggles.
There's one match that we haven't talked about. One match that I love, and I think this is the perfect match to talk about.
Ray versus Eddie?
No, about Shawn. Talking about Shawn.
Oh, I mean Ray versus Shawn after Eddie died.
No, but yeah, actually, yes, that's a really good match.
That's a very good match.
Shut up.
The armbands.
The match that I'm referring to, though, the perfect way, like if somebody asked me, who's Shawn Michaels, what match would you recommend? It's a pay-per-view match. SummerSlam. You guess what match I want to talk about before we close out this episode? It's a legend versus icon match.
Icon?
Icon. The showstopper versus...
You said the icon.
Not Sting. That was how they booked it.
I don't remember that.
Oh, you're about to.
That'd be good. Imagine that. Prime Sting, Prime Shawn. That'd be a good match.
Both very flamboyant.
I really feel like it would have been a very gruesome Stinger splash, though. He would have definitely got switching music out of the corner.
That would be epic.
Somebody's teeth would have went flying.
That would have been epic.
That'd been great.
But the match that I'm referring to is, when booking comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
When it comes crashing down, oh, God.
Shawn Michaels had to be a man.
The selling.
Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam.
I've never seen a man fly across the ring, land perfectly on his nads on a rope from 20 foot away from a single punch.
And then get sent off of those ropes back into the center of the ring.
God, it was awful.
That match, though, that was... Even though that was Shawn after finding Jesus and everything else, that was 90 Shawn returning with a vengeance. Because essentially what happened was the match was supposed to be that Hulk Hogan came back. The match was going to be Shawn versus Hogan at SummerSlam, another match I think at Rumble, and then maybe another at Mania. And Shawn was going to win one, Hogan was going to win one, and then however they were going to do that.
At first, like Hulk Hogan seemed unamused, like, oh God, he's doing this to me. Then eventually, it's like his post-trauma kicked in. And he thought, "Oh wow, I'm really making this man flip." Like he thought he was really doing it.
I swear, I really do think that fed Hogan's ego. He's like, "Look at how he's selling for me, brother. He's putting me over."
I'm Superman, yeah.
Yeah. I think the moment though that he realizes, I'm gonna throw a gif up of it for the audience to see. The moment he realizes that Shawn is overselling him, though, his blood drenched all over him. He does the leg drop. and Shawn jumps up from the leg drop, spins around, and then flat back bumps. And you can see Hogan go like, what the hell?
The meme.
And, like, you can tell that was the moment he's like, I think he's pulling a rib on me. And it is so great. If
That was just a spring-loaded leg drop. What do you mean? That was just a botch. He really hit Shawn.
If you are somebody that has never, somehow, some way, have never seen a Shawn Michaels match, that is the one that I recommend most.
You need to watch.
Because it is insanely beautiful.
We already talked about the Jeff and Shawn match in the last episode.
Yeah.
But he did a little ode to that match. Since Jeff was an actual up-and-coming wrestler, he did the little... Jeff hit him one time in the corner, and he flew upwards. I don't know how...
Oh, yeah, he did do the same
Who
thing.
did he do the headstand against? Remember, he did a headstand.
Oh, yes!
Was it Rikishi?
I can't remember. But I know what you're talking about. He literally goes straight up and then flops.
No, he didn't use his arms or anything. He literally just fell backwards and then somehow didn't look like he used any muscles and just rolled onto his physics. Not
was
included.
that 90s or was that 2000s?
It was either it had to be like late 90s, early 2000s. I think it might have been Rikishi. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Don't attack me.
Oh, The Rock.
Was it The Rock?
The Rock. Apparently, it was The Rock. Thank you, Sam. Sam's been off camera off the side the entire time, being chill. Yes, The Rock. That makes so much sense because The Rock was great at sailing too.
There'll be a Rock episode for sure.
Oh yeah,
but that'll come a lot later. Probably a little bit. Probably wait till the Roman Reigns thing either fizzles out or something actually happens.
Yeah.
Probably wait on that one.
Oh, I just cannot wait to talk about. I did it for the people. I did it for The Rock.
I can't wait to just talk about Carlito.
You mean?
I spit in the face of people who do not want to be cool.
Oh, we're gonna have to do a whole episode about
Carlito, the
ruthless aggression
boogeyman.
flops.
Carlito, the boogeyman. Who else we got? Who we got?
Poor Chavo Guerrero.
I'm talking about Finley. Finley was great. Finley was great. That was a flop. That was awesome.
Have you ever seen WCW Finley?
Bits and pieces. It's a little more gruesome, ain't it? He's a little more brutal on that.
When we finish with this, I got a little recommendation for you. I want you to go home, pull up Peacock, and watch any Fit Finley match versus William Regal, and you will see two men just obliterate one another.
I got homework for the fans at home.
Mm.
On the next episode, we want you to leave comments about this match. Go home, watch Triple H versus William Regal First Blood match.
Oh, that's actually it.
That's a good match.
That's
a really, really good match.
I know what Raw you're talking about somehow.
That's a good match.
That was on Raw Roulette. It was the first episode of January 2008.
You want to see a crowd with some heat? Watch any William Regal match, really. He knew how to make people mad. Which now everybody loves him because he's old and now he's with the...
It's I know what you're talking about.
The club, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. But
Blackpool
Fight Club. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this episode. We really want fan engagement. We really want you all to give us input. If you have any ideas for episodes, things that you want us to talk about,
matches you want us to go back and watch. And
we would love to do that.
Yeah,
just do whole episodes on just matches or pay-per-views that we've never seen. Just recommendations. Again, we want to thank Sam Little and the Wheelwright Renaissance Center for allowing us the time to sit and record this. It's been a pleasure to be here, and it's been a pleasure to continue the series with you all. It's been really fun to sit down and just talk some wrestling every week.
Thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate it. Hope you guys tune in next week for our next episode.
Oh, and Dalton gave me so much hell for not doing it last week. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell.
And remember, always be too sweet.